Hey again, guys, it's Aseem Sharma, training manager from Solframe Consulting. Again, I do hope you're all doing well. Today I'm going to briefly talk about two interrelated topics. One is feeling lonely and how to deal with that, and number two, introspecting and analyzing what is the purpose of life. So, number one, let's come on to a symptom of feeling purposeless. Why do we feel lonely? Sometimes, paradoxically, we feel lonely even when we're surrounded by good people, our friends, maybe even our family. But we need to also think that, look, let's put family aside for a second. That can be a very sensitive topic. You can choose your friends usually. So, are they presenting some sort of elements which are toxic? And I've mentioned this before. Toxic people, how to deal with them. That's one thing. The other thing is, what exactly is that emotion that triggers off feeling empty? So it's almost like you have things around you, or there isn't any specific issue, but still you feel detached. I'm just using some of the words that people may use to describe them. I also feel this way sometimes. You may feel depressed. That doesn't mean you're clinically depressed. That just means that you feel as if something, again, is missing. Maybe there's an omission somewhere. It could be career related, it could be a setback, it could be a relationship, it could be a mood, it could be, just a lack of endorphins or, dopamine in your brain, if you want to start speaking in chemical terms. I'm not going to really go into that technical stuff, but you never know. But one thing you can do is try to analyze, this is the second point, that when does this tend to happen? Does it happen when you're actually alone and you feel that technology and things like social media or staying remotely in touch with people, because now we have these restrictions since the pandemic began, and that's a huge exacerbating factor, that's what's triggering it off. Or, there were times even before the pandemic I used to feel lonely, and it wouldn't necessarily be around people or being in solitude. Sometimes I would embrace solitude. I need that. Are you intrinsically introverted? Believe it or not, I am, even though I'm a chatterbox and I can speak a lot, I write a lot. But sometimes I just don't want to talk to people. But I will talk for the purposes of delivering something, facilitating something, spreading awareness, and when I'm genuinely interested to have a conversation, because I like to spread positivity. I've had a lot of negativity in my life, I still do, and the last thing I want is to pass that on to other people. That's just incredibly selfish. So try to assess your surroundings and see what the trigger factors are. If you feel that there's a remedy, something actually helps you, then what exactly is that? And it shouldn't be something which you become reliant upon or addicted to, like substances or whatever. I'm not really going to go into that. If you feel that you find solace in talking to a specific person, great. But you don't want to become completely dependent on that person. That person may not always be there for you. They have their own life, or unfortunately circumstances can change. You may fall out with that person. They may become your next arch enemy. You have no idea. So you need to develop this independence, and you need to assess what is your purpose of life. So it may be partly to do with your career. Often it usually is, mainly for a lot of people actually. Your progression. How do you determine progress? How do you determine that you are successful? And I mentioned this in a previous video as well. And that means different things to different people. I mentioned about how I started becoming a little fitter, and for me that's a milestone, even though other people may say, Aseem, it's taken you this much amount of time to do something which normally would take maybe half the amount of time. But then I'm not that person. I'm me. I am myself. That's an achievement for me. So again, you don't want to be going too slow, so you may have to reinvent things and look at things again and change a technique, etc. So doing all this introspection. So what is your purpose in terms of your career, your education, the people around you? What do you want to do? Are there things that are missing, as in you had aspirations but you're not able to complete them? What are the hindering factors? And how do you plan to go about it? Do you want to make a life-changing plan? Do you want to watch motivational videos? I do that from time to time, not very often, but it's inspiring, and I usually do it when I'm about to sleep, even though it's advised not to actually watch anything or use your devices before sleeping, right? The blue light and your circadian rhythm and your melatonin levels, etc. for those who can relate to what I'm saying. But sometimes science isn't everything. It is very important. Sometimes you need to go with what works for you. Some people may drink a cup of tea before going to bed, even though it has a bit of caffeine and it works for them. For me, I'm not really a fan of anything specifically, so I don't really look towards doing something because people say it. I will try it out, or I'll come up with my own ways. So the point I'm trying to make here is sometimes often it's okay to accept that you feel lonely, because that may not actually be loneliness, that may be something else. And number two, when it comes to analyzing how you deal with people and what your purpose is, it's very important to be able to do that in a way that presents your goals, whatever they may be, in a better way, and do it in an efficient way. So set out a plan, make realistic timelines, and see where it takes you. Anyway, I hope you found this useful. For further tips, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and now Telegram. Till next time, please do take care. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.